Hi, my name is Zach Robison. I'm the president of Licking County Players, and it is my pleasure to welcome you tonight to Tales of the Ghostlight, an LCP online event. As you know, our stage has been dark since February due to COVID-19. However, the board of directors felt that it was important for our casts and crew to shine during this pandemic. Additionally, we wanted to give something back to our members and patrons, those people who support us with their time, their energy, and their resources. Tonight, we offer the first in what we hope to be a series of free online events. Tonight's event is unique in that it was created entirely by Licking County talent. A few months back, we asked for scary stories of the theater and received a handful of truly great submissions. After some video work and editing, we are pleased to present to you tonight Tales of the Ghostlight, an LCP online event.
I once worked in a theater that people said was haunted. That's what people said. I, of course, didn't believe it because, of course, there are no ghosts. People said Wesley, that's what people named the ghost, had died by his own hand in the building 90 years before. Since then, visitors and workers in the building had witnessed strange things happening. So they said. The stage curtain would suddenly be opened when nobody was pulling the cords. Hangers would move on the racks in the costume shop when nobody was around. So they said. These were amusing tales, often heard in October, around Halloween, when the local newspapers published stories of haunted buildings in the area. Wesley got a mention every year. The news articles gave a sense of truth about this ghost who nobody had ever seen. I, of course, didn't believe any of it. One wintry night, when the play I was stage managing for had ended, and the audience and all the actors had long since gone home, I was making sure everything was set and ready for the next night's performance. My last duty was to check the dressing room and make certain everything in that room was okay. All was in perfect shape. I turned out the lights in the room, locked the door, and pulled the door closed. When, out of the corner of my eye, I caught a flash of light under the door to the hat storage. I thought maybe one of the kids in the show had sneaked into the hat storage to get pictures in some of the crazy hats. They were always doing stuff like that. But the door was locked, and I left my keys downstairs, so down I went. Lord knows I didn't want anyone on my case for leaving lights on. The light wasn't even on. Nothing. I decided to head home and went straight to my car. But there was something in my back seat, someone. I looked through my rearview mirror. There was nobody back there. Still, I knew somebody was back there. I sensed it. I felt it. I knew it.
This place was supposed to make me feel good again, like it did years ago. But I was younger years ago, and a 2-mile hike from the hostel to town and back again doesn't feel the same. But I'm not giving that old bastard money for his shuttle service in his stinky car. These are for forgetting, and they don't taste the same anywhere else.
The sky
got here like 3
I
days
can't.
ago.
I want to go home.
We're not going
It was
home.
awful, that guy.
You're being irresponsible, okay? No, oh fine, walk away, that's fine, yeah.
2 miles back to the hostel. A little harder with a few shots. I forgot how afraid of the dark I could get out here. There are no lights on the roads, and it gets so dark. It's this fear of something you can't name in the dark. In my case, the dark meant that I was alone in my head. I never should have pressured you to come here.
You're right.
I'd forgotten most of this guilt. Was it the island that reminded me? What do you want me to do?
Well, Mom's really sick. I want you to come home.
Is this what they mean when they call it haunted? Not dead priests and kings, but your own worst memories? Is this haunting?
No, but this might be. Sorry, I was trying my best not to give you a fright.
Can I help you?
Oh, I don't reckon you can.
Well then, I hope you have a good evening.
I'm terribly sorry, but... Oh, I'm sorry, lass. I can't seem but not to scare you. I swear I'm not trying to.
It's fine. I guess I just startle easily. So, is there something else you wanted to talk about?
If you don't mind, I'd rather fancy a chat.
I was alone. He wasn't a small man. I was scared just to say no and finish my walk. He sounded kind, but I still needed a safe place. Why don't we talk over there? Near the light?
What made you say that about hunting back on the road?
I don't know. Memories, I guess.
Aye, then I misspoke. Memories are some of the worst haunting.
But wait, what did you say back there? But this might be? Is that it?
Aye, I might have had something like that slip. I reckon that makes as much sense as... Oh, dear Jesus. Sorry, I reckon I'm not making much sense.
It's fine. You said you wanted to chat, so let's chat. Simple stuff. Are you from Iona originally?
Not a bit. I was born on the mainland. They didn't bring me out here till... I didn't make my way out here till I was a wee bit older. But what about yourself, lass? What brings you here?
I didn't want to tell some strange semi-retired fisherman or whatever he was about the trip I'd planned with my sister that she'd backed out on at the last minute. I didn't want to tell him how the last time I'd been here was when my mom was dying of cancer back home while my dad and sister cared for her, and I refused to come home because I wasn't ready yet. So I was trying to come back here to forgive myself and maybe make this place I once called home a holy place of pilgrimage and light again. I just wanted some adventure.
Aye, it's a fine place for that.
We looked out at the lake, seeing it in the dim light, when I felt a cold shiver go up my arm. That's when I saw his eyes for the first time. They were these deep black wells, all dark and missing. I heard his voice echo in my head.
It's the memories, ain't it?
And it all started rushing in. It was the rush of memories and regrets I'd felt on the road after leaving the pub, and only now I was seeing all the people and events as clear as if they were right in front of me. The leaving service, with my sister and I holding each other, crying over all the things we hadn't said in 2 months we'd had together here, promising I'd stay up late to talk to my mom and tell her everything about my last few months in Scotland and read her my journal, but then falling asleep in the chair next to her hospital bed because I was jet-lagged. I missed my opportunity. Me bringing my fiancé here and fighting about how I should have left with my sister. The text from my sister to say she was backing out of our trip, the trip that was supposed to give us a chance to relive all of the things we wished we'd done better when we were both on this island together.
Are they gone yet? Your ghosts?
Yeah, I think so. Your eyes look different than they were a minute ago.
I guess that means the haunting's over. Let's get you back onto the road.
So wait, you make people relive their most painful memories and you get your humanity back or something?
You be oversimplifying it a bit, but aye, that's the essence of it. You do make it sound rather cruel, though.
Well, it is cruel, making people go through that.
I don't know how it all works. I was a cruel man in life, and they buried me here with the other kings. Maybe it's some punishment, but sometimes I wake up and I'm not like myself for a while as I wander about. But I always find someone who's lost. And then I touch them and they cry, but then maybe it's all takes away. That's what the others have told me.
I did feel lighter. It hadn't all been taken away, but I did feel better. I didn't say it though. How long do you have now?
A day or two, maybe.
Well, maybe I'll see you around then.
Aye, perhaps.
He almost faded away from me in that dark night. I meant to come back the next day, but I got busy with something. By the time I came back, I noticed something in the graveyard nearby.
I hope you're enjoying tonight's online event, a first for Licking County players. Now, right now is the time where I'm going to ask you for some money. But first, you're going to have a question. I can already see it. You're going to ask yourself, Zach, you're a theater that's not performing theater. So what's my money going towards? Well, I'm glad you asked.
Hi everyone, I'm Jessica Nitzhauser. I'm your Grants and Capital Improvements Chairman, and I just wanted to take a few minutes to show you what we've been doing at the theater. So in the meantime, since we can't be performing theater, we've decided to upgrade the building itself, and through many donations and lots of volunteer help, we've been able to do some great things. So I'm going to show you what we've been working on. Here is the current status of our green room. It is a little messy, but that's because it's a work in progress. If you can see, we got a clean coat of white paint, and that was donated by Advantage Paints here in downtown Newark. We also have a great new shade of green on our doors for the green room, and that was donated by Sherwin-Williams. I wanted to take the time to thank the Herbst family for moving all of this furniture out of here so that we could paint and just make it look a little less cluttered. There was a lot in here, and they put a lot of work into finding it a new home upstairs. And then lastly, we also got some great new ceiling tiles. If you were in here before, you know that they were tattered and worn down, but look how great they look. It is a whole new room. So the upcoming steps in our green room update, we are going to be giving this floor a brand new coat of gray concrete paint, and that was generously donated by Home Depot here in Newark. After that, our green room should be done, and we're on to the next project, which takes place here in the green room's kitchen. So if you can see right here, these are the old cabinets. They are brown with some brassy handles. Ace Hardware was super generous, and they gave us some stain, some sanding, supplies, and they gave us brand new handles for all of these. If you know, before not all of them had handles, so I'm super excited to give it a clean new look. And then lastly, this mint is going to go, and it's going to be a nice shade of gray, and that was also donated by Sherwin-Williams. I'm really excited, and I hope you guys love it.
Thanks to the tireless effort of former board president Charlie Hupp, we also have a brand new executive boardroom at the top of the stairs. For those of you that were in this room last, you might remember that the walls were a different color and that the drywall was completely peeling away. Thanks again, Charlie.
Did you guys see a patient wandering around down here? A little girl, blonde hair. She had one of those older looking gowns on.
We're at low pop right now, Steve. I don't think I remember seeing anybody like that.
I think I'm going crazy. I think I saw a ghost.
What exactly did you see?
I'm not sure. I started my walk around upstairs about a half hour ago, right when that storm started. The emergency lighting was on like it always is in the middle of the night. I guess I'm just used to it, walking around in the dark, because I don't even carry a flashlight anymore. I know the other guards do, but I don't really believe much in ghosts and superstitions. I was a Marine. There's not much time for that stuff over there. Anyway, I was in one of those longer hallways upstairs. You know, the ones with the big doors with the big windows on the top. Now, I already said something about how stuff doesn't really creep me out, but when it's dark like that, those windows kind of reflect what's in the hallway and not really what's in the room. So I'm about halfway down the hallway and I see in my reflection one of these windows, but I noticed something else. It took me a second to turn around and there was just something not right about what I saw. I laughed at myself, but then I turned around and I saw this girl. She was, I don't know, maybe 20. She was really pretty with blonde hair, just like I said before. And she was in a gown, but it was one of those older ones, the ones from a few years back, the blue ones. I wasn't here earlier, so I didn't recognize her. I just figured she must be from the floor below and just got lost. Then she gave me this look, like she was hoping I wouldn't see her, like she didn't even want me looking at her. I don't know what I thought she was trying to do, maybe sneak a cigarette in the stairwell or something. I just calmly told her, "Ma'am, excuse me, you can't be up here after hours." And then she didn't say anything. She acted like she didn't even hear me. And then she walked straight towards one of the rooms off the hall. Well, I thought it was a clinic room, and I'm like, I can't have her going in there and wrecking everything. So I yelled at her this time, "Ma'am, stop and come back here." She just went right into the room. Now, to be honest, that pissed me off a little bit. I had given her a pretty clear command. When I went off towards the room, I saw that the door was closed. And I realized I hadn't heard her open the door or close the door. So I yanked the door open, getting ready for her to be real confrontational, but it wasn't a clinic room at all. It was a janitor's closet. And she wasn't in there. Now it was dark, and she was a little ways down from me, so I guess maybe I grabbed the wrong door. So I checked some of the rooms next to it. She wasn't in any of them. And I'm not too embarrassed to admit it, but I hightailed out of there right then and there. And it was weird, when I was coming down here, I kind of decided, like, maybe I went to the wrong room, or maybe she got out first, but the way you guys are looking at me, it doesn't look like you guys believe that at all.
There's been hauntings in this building for years. It used to be a mental facility, and you know how they used to treat people in there. Like you had a demon when you were just a little not right in the head. I've had a bunch of run-ins with stuff like that. There's this one that really stuck with me though. There was this one night when I was fixing some pipes in maintenance, and I heard this screeching sound overhead. I thought maybe it was pressure from one of the pipes or something, so I looked straight up. The pipes were all fine, but there was this black haze kind of just hanging up there. I felt this lump catch in my chest at first, but then I figured maybe it was a fire. I popped up and started going for a phone to report a possible fire when that screeching happened again. But it wasn't screeching, it was screaming, and the sound was deafening. Then the smoke all dropped from the ceiling like it was dripping down on my head, but I didn't feel anything. Then the smoke was gone and the sound was too. I told my supervisor about it, but she said that there were lots of hauntings in that side of the building.
I'm just glad I'm not the only one. I didn't tell anybody about it because, well, I was cleaning upstairs and I thought I heard this kid laughing. I thought maybe someone just lost track of their kid downstairs or something at first, but it was past midnight, and there should be kids up running around that late. But I heard the laugh again. And then I realized the sound was coming from inside one of the rooms, up on the 4th floor. The lights low. I really cautiously walked over to the door of the room, a little shaken. When I opened the door, this little boy just ran past me. I had to jump out of the way. I told him to stop, but he acted like he couldn't hear me, just like your girl. So I started chasing after him, but he wasn't slowing down as he got close to the window. I thought he was going to slam right into the glass. But just when I should have heard a smack, he just faded away. Right through the window. I never told anybody about this. Guess I was just too embarrassed.
Well, maybe I'm not crazy then. I gotta get back to my shift. Thanks for listening, ladies.
My lover, my lover, my lover and I swore our love till the day we die. My lover, my lover, my lover did lie, found comfort in arms that were not mine. My lover, my lover, my lover did cry when my axe came down that very first time. My lover, my lover, my lover did bleed. Took 9 hours to scrub it all clean. My lover is buried deep. Now my lover can never leave.
Before we finish the show, I'd just like to take a moment to say thank you to those who helped make tonight's production as well as our building upgrades a possibility. Heath Walmart, Ace Hardware, Sherwin-Williams, Home Depot, Advantage Paints, Kathy Zeno, First Presbyterian Church, Equity Resources, Charlie Hupp, Jody Goebel, Una Hunter, and all our patron donations. We'd also like to give a big special thank you to the Druids for your generous donations over the last several years. To all of these groups, we say thank you. And if you'd like to be a donor, you can email us at lickingcountyplayers@gmail.com. Now, enjoy the show.
Yeah, I've heard about people and their ghost stories around here, and I want to say it's all a load of crap. And maybe it is. Maybe I was just tired, or maybe I was having a dream or something. Maybe. But I wouldn't even be sitting here to tell you about this if I didn't believe it a little. I know it doesn't make any sense that anything could happen to me like I tell it, but I think about it every time I try to get some sleep. And that's the truth. I definitely think about it every time I go into the theater with the lights out. Anyway, yeah, it all happened almost 20 years ago now. So back before everyone carried a camera around on them all the time. Yeah, I know it makes it even harder to believe me. But how about you just let me tell a tale and we can worry about if you believe me another time. Okay, so like I said, it was about 20 years ago and it was Halloween. And we had a show going up the next week, Our Town, and I only wanted to be in it if I got to be the narrator. I didn't get the narrator. So after I was done being a cranky ass about it, I offered to help the director out and fill in for lights, because that's just the great kind of guy that I am. So it was Halloween, and I was covering lights. Here's the thing, though. I wasn't any good at lights. And this is a big show. So the director had all of these ideas on how I should be setting it up. And I wasn't the same responsible person that I am now. So with a week to go, I let my work pile up. I had to get those lights done before Sunday. So on Friday, I came in and I cleared off the stage. I set the ghost light down on the stage in the stage manager's station and spent the whole night setting up lights, then taking them down when I messed that up to get them all right again. Then I spent another 10 hours on Saturday after staying up way too late on Friday. I tell you all that because by Saturday night I was running on maybe 4 hours sleep the night before. And I had been in the theater for just about every waking hour for the last 2 days. And I was sick of the place. And I was all alone. So I didn't see a reason not to open up a 6-pack and enjoy a bud while I was working on the lights. To be honest with you, that 6-pack is the only reason I'm even willing to doubt what happened to me next. I figure maybe, I don't know, they're hallucinated or something. Do you hallucinate from a couple of beers? I don't think so. But that's what's always made me think there must have been a good explanation. But here I was, Saturday night, dead tired, a little snockered, and more than a little irritable. Have you ever been in the theater by yourself late at night? Late? Every room seems to be big. Everything seems darker than it should. And being in such a huge place makes you feel small, vulnerable. I just kept looking out the windows in the lobby to the street every time I went from the house to the booth, like there was going to be someone looking in. That's the kind of paranoid and jumpy I always get here by myself. Like if someone were to break in and mean me harm, there wouldn't be anyone who would know. You're just so alone. And you hear sounds. I always try to make myself ignore them like they're nothing, but I'm not going to pretend that I don't hear them and they don't tickle my spine every time. I always feel like I'm hearing sounds on whatever floor I'm not on, like you'll be upstairs. And you know how thin the floors are, and you will hear something bump downstairs. And every time I hear it, I freeze. I wonder, is there going to be something waiting for me at the bottom of those stairs? But I have no way out if so. But you keep looking for the prop or the costume or whatever, because that's the only way to keep yourself sane. You can't run out of the building wailing like an idiot every time there's a sound. Well, that's the mood I was in by midnight that night. Every 10 minutes, my mind was playing tricks on me, making me hear stuff that didn't happen. Once, I heard the sound in the scene shop, and when I went back to check it out, it was just that some idiot had stacked the flats up all whopper-jawed and something fell over. Then after that, something crashed in the light booth while I was in the house, and I snuck in to check it out. And I was the idiot. I must have set my beer down on the edge of the counter, and it fell over and knocked a bunch of the metal gel holders, clanging them all together. And then again, it's about midnight now. I hear a knock, like someone's knocking on the stage door. I'm up on the ladder at that point, and the light is not getting any cooler to the touch. I know the longer I let that light just sit there and run while I chase another damn sound, the hotter it's going to be, and I'm going to burn myself again. So I stay on the ladder and figure I'm just imagining things. And this is the light the director is using as this pale green spot for the dead girl in the play. So I need to get it right. And then I hear that knocking again. Stage manager's station. I get the light where I need it and climb down. It was probably some animal, or maybe something blowing outside. There was a terrible storm that night, and maybe something was shook loose in the back. And again, I'm feeling paranoid, but I just can't ignore it at this point. So I walk over to the stage manager station with my big metal flashlight, figuring I've got a club if I need it. I try to cautiously open the door, and the wind catches it right away, tearing it from my hands and clanging the metal back of the door up against the building. Oh, I think I let out a little scream. It just freaked me out. And the rain hadn't started yet, but the wind was just howling. There wasn't anything out there to see, though. It's just a moonlit night, and the trees blustering. I took a deep breath. I shook my head at my own paranoia and closed the door. I took a second and started walking out on the stage when I heard a knock from the other door, the alley door. It was a distinct kind of human knock, you know? Not the bang, bang I heard from the stage door, but a kind of a tap, 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 tap that a person makes. And I thought I heard a voice following, but the wind was blowing so loud and the lights were buzzing. But then came that knock again. Tap, 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 tap. I nodded my head and said it had to be a branch or something that was reaching down at the door and just kind of hitting it, which is pretty dumb since there's never been a tree in the alley. But I crept over there, the cold shiver down my back, and I opened the door, keeping a tight grip this time. The wind caught it again, and it blew it into the hallway behind, but I kept a hold of that door, and I had that flashlight out like it was a club, just waiting for some person to come in. But the wind settled down a little, and then I looked all over the place. There's not a soul. "You're just tired, you idiot," I said out loud, and closed the door, making sure it was latched since the wind was already making it start to shake again. I leaned up against the door and I slid down, just trying to gather my wits, when I heard more knocking. This time, it was behind me, on the door. And I heard it from the door at the stage manager station as well. No way was I opening that door again. I flew out of that hallway and burst into the theater. There, In the middle of the stage, the green light was still shining. I could still hear that knocking. It was different than the other two. This time, it sounded like someone getting real impatient, and I didn't care. They were going to have to wait. I looked back and forth across the stage, hearing knocking from both sides, and I swear I saw someone in the green light. I ran. I was just in this blind panic. And just as I reached to the doors of the lobby, I heard a crash, and I realized I hadn't been careful about latching the stage door. Back then, it would get stuck and not latch sometimes. I'd caught hell for it before, and I always forgot to double check. The wind had pulled the damn door open, and I could hear papers fluttering at the stage manager's desk. And I knew I was being crazy. I knew there was just a storm outside, but I kept running. As soon as I stepped into the lobby, there was a crash of lightning, and I thought I saw silhouettes of people standing at the door. In the sudden flash, I remember them. They were wearing dresses and suits and top hats. It was an odd kind of thing for your mind to just invent. And then they were gone as soon as I had seen them. I swear to you, I'm not inventing this. I heard this polite knock, 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 like a flippin' heartbeat. I dashed for the light booth and locked myself in. I fell to the floor and I ducked my head and tried to calm my breathing. It's nothing. It's nothing. I kept saying out loud, it's the storm. And I saw a reflection in the glass. In the green light, I saw another person. With a big flourish, she took a bow. She had the most pleased smile on her face. And as she bowed, I saw this little kid come into focus, and he waved at me. I shut my eyes. I heard more knocking. I tried to shut it all out, and I don't know how long it was or how long I sat there. I think I might have passed out. I was a little drunk and very tired and too scared to think. And then it was 2 a.m. Have you ever spent any time in the theater at night? If you have, you know 2 a.m. is a bad time to be in the theater. Our alarm resets itself at 2 every day. And that means if you're inside, you set off the motion alarm and this siren wails at you. Well, a siren shocked me out of my stupor. And the cops come if you don't shut it off. And I had been freaked out by that alarm and shut it off so many times that I just did it. I stood up, unlocked the door, I shut off the alarm. Only then did I realize that I must have passed out at some point because I didn't know how long it had been since I closed my eyes. But I know it was about midnight when I heard the first knock. I steeled myself. I had to close that stage door, and whatever was in there, I couldn't let the rain come in and ruin the whole theater. I burst through the lobby doors into the house, and I didn't hear any knocking. There was just the green light I had left on, buzzing away above my head. The storm had died down outside. I couldn't hear even the slightest breeze. I just crept to the stage manager's station, expecting to see a bunch of soggy papers. And the door was shut. and the papers were all back to the way they had been. Nothing was ruined, but there was something out of place. I walked through the green room to the other side. That door was shut tight too, and nothing was out of place. I was starting to wonder if I had just fallen asleep in the booth. I went back into the house and realized what was out of place from the stage manager's station. The ghost light was in the middle of the stage, lit up, and my green light was off. I heard the stage door fly open one more time, and it closed quietly right after. I turned off my flashlight and just stared at the ghost light for a few, just looking around the theater at the seats where people would be watching the cast bow in just a few days. And I thought about how in that moment, bowing for an audience with your closest friends, you feel immortal. Like that moment can just stretch on. And I guess I wondered if sometimes under the right circumstances, it does stretch on forever.
Thank you again for watching tonight's performance. Before you go, please consider a donation to Licking County Players. If you miss community theater as much as I do, then know that your donation will go towards ensuring that when all of this is over, Licking County Players can return as strong as ever. If you are willing to do so, please go to lickingcountyplayers.org and submit your donation there. Additionally, consider a fundraiser on Facebook. I know that my birthday's coming up in December, and my donation will go towards Licking County Players this year. Thank you again for watching. Be safe, and we hope to see you soon.